Pterodactyl here. And today's video is going to be on this here John Deere 724D. And I assume the D stands for deer. John Deere didn't make this. This snowblower was made by Murray. And then they just put their name on it. Now the problem with this one is, this is an older snow thrower, and you can tell because it's got that Tecumseh engine on there. But one thing missing from this Tecumseh engine is this Tecumseh sticker, which we sell in our online store. And look at that guy. That's me. That's my profile. Or maybe you like the more risque Tecumseh engine one, which we also sell in our online store. Woo, look at her. She's pretty. You know where that would look good? That'd look good right here. That'd look good right there on your snow thrower. Okay. The problem with this snow thrower is it won't drive. So we pulled the belly pan off underneath, and look what's in there. That's rubber, drive disc, and aluminum. So I'm going to flip it up and I'm going to show you what's going on with this thing on my new lift table. Look at the drive disc. It wore so much of the rubber off that the customer was still using it, and it was metal on metal. Well, of course, the aluminum being a lot softer than the steel, it grooved it. So we looked this thing up, and from Murray, this drive disc is not available anymore. It's all grooved and it's pretty shot. So my concern is if I put a new drive disc on there, it's probably not going to last as long as it should. But again, this snow thrower is about 27 years old. The customer told me he got it in 1998, and it's 2025. So we got a hold of John Deere, and because these parts all have John Deere part numbers on it, even though it's a Murray, we did find the part number under Murray. No longer available. John Deere still has this available. $150. And then we got to tear it all apart to get at this. Now I do have a new drive disc for it. I've got the actual Murray one, or Brakes and Scrap 'em. In case you didn't know, Brakes and Scrap 'em owns Murray. They own that brand. So we looked it up. We were able to cross-reference the disc that goes on there to that Murray part number. That's a Murray part number. That's why it ends in MA, Murray. In a Brakes and Scrap 'em bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fix the disc that's on there. So I got a hold of Slippers, because Slippers works over at my brother Farrell's shop, and asked them if they might have had any of these snow throwers that were junk, that we might be able to find a good used disc, because we did find a good used disc on Fleabay, but the person wanted $90 for it, for the used one. You know why? Because they know they don't make that part anymore, and they've got a good used one. Hey, I'm going to try to get as much money as I can, because it's still cheaper than buying a new snow thrower. Snow throwers are expensive. So I was talking to Slippers, and he said that they come in my brother's shop, because he does way more snow throwers than me. My brother will call me, because he's in a suburb of Chicago, where his shop is, so he's in a very well-populated area. And he'll call me up when we get a threat of snow, or if it's snowing, he'll go, hey, how many snow throwers you take in today? And I go, I took in one. Because down here, you know, hillbillies, they don't blow snow. They just drive over it with your four-wheel drive truck. Ain't gonna get out there and shovel that snow. I'll just drive over it. I got four-wheel drive. And I go, yeah, I took in one snow thrower. I go, why? How many did you take in? He goes, 50. He'll take in 50 snow throwers in one day. I remember one time he made a little video on his phone to show me how many snow throwers he had in all his different buildings, because he's a huge dealer. I think he had over 150 snow throwers in his shop for repair. So that gives you an idea what kind of volume he does over there. So Slippers told me that this ain't nothing. He goes, we've seen them to where they wore it down so much that this plate was thin, it actually had holes wore through it. That's how much they machined it down by still using it. It actually wore holes through this disc. So Slippers goes, why don't you just, he goes, we've done this before. He goes, why don't you just hillbilly machine it? So that's what I'm going to try to do. Because, you know, when you start the engine, this thing will spin because it runs off the belts. This disc runs off the belts of the engine. So I'm going to run it, get this thing spinning, and then I'm going to try with this sander to try to smooth it out as best I can. And we'll put a new drive disc on there and we'll see how it works. It may not work, it may work, it may not work, but I'm going to try it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hillbilly machine this. So to give me more room in here, I'm going to go ahead and take this out, because you have to take this out to replace this disc. So I'm going to pull this drive mechanism out, and I'm going to take the wheels off. That way I can put it up on jack stands a little bit, so when I run it, you know, I can kind of see in there. I can't run it like this with the engine in this position, but I can run it, you know, at an angle like this. That'll give me a little more room to get in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take the wheels off. I'm going to remove these plates on the sides here, and I should be able to get this shaft and that drive disc out. Well, luckily these came off and they weren't rusted on there. This one looks like it was about ready to get rusted on there. So we'll put some never sleeves on there when we go to reinstall it, which we sell in our online store. We got never sleeves. Now I'm going to put these back in the wheel so I don't lose them. Now, what size do I need for over here? Is that 3/8? Yeah. So now I can get to these bearing covers. We can pop this off. I'll go to the other side. This table's nice. We don't want to lose these little carriage screws that are in here. These little baby carriage bolts. There's a washer back here. There's one on the other side. No. Oh yeah, behind the bearing there. Looks like it. Might have to give it a little tap. Seems like it's stuck on that bearing. I don't want to lose this washer. It's moving. Try to get this bearing out. Let me grab it with some channel locks. That bearing don't want to come off of that shaft. Must be boogered up on the end here. I gotta get it off of this fork. We'll go ahead and take these bolts out of this drive disc. Maybe that'll let it move a little better. All right, these are 1/4 20, so they got a 7/16 head on them. That gives me more room. Get this off of there. We drag this thing back. Problem is, I need to get this bearing off this other side so I can just slide the whole shaft out. I don't want to lose any of this stuff. So let me get a bowl. Let me get a parts tray. Put all that stuff in. I need to get this bearing off of here. The end of it's boogered up. Oh, thank you, Mr. Elkskins.
You're welcome.
So right here on the end of this shaft here, Mr. Cameraman, this is the difficulty I'm having getting that bearing off. I need to clean that up. So I use this sander, which I'm going to use to hillbilly machine the Alright, let's see if that was enough to get, see, came right off. And there's another washer behind there. Alright. Now let's see if we can get this off of here. There we go. Get that out of the way. Got the drive disc off. There's washers on there. and then out it comes. Little struggleization, but we got it out. Where did that other washer go? I'm sure it'll show it. There it is. That was on that shifting fork. All right, so that gives me a good clear shot at this. So let me get it in position so I can try my hillbilly machining. Trick that I want to try. All right, let's raise it up. All right, so now it's up high enough. Oh, I need the air line. This thing will stay up by itself. Let me lock it in place. For safety. So now I can get in here and try to smooth this out as best I can. So what's next?
Gotta fire it up, fire it up, fire it up!
You got it there, Elkie.
What?
Elkie Skins. This one don't have electric start, does it?
No, is gas on?
Yep. It's working. Well, my jack stands are wanting to vibrate out of here. So I'm going to put some vice grips on there so they don't come out on me. And this engine's not running too good. I'm going to have to run it on high. So I'm sure I'm going to have to go through the carburetor before we give it back. I'll just put these on there just to keep that jack stand from coming out. I'll get another pair for over there. All right, I got it pretty smooth. Now, one thing to remember while if you're going to do this, and you're using this air tool, you want to be on this side of the disc when you're sanding. Because if you go on the other side, it's going to want to grab it, and you got the possibility of hurting yourself or getting your fingers smashed. And you want to sand with the edge of the disc. You want to use it on the edge, this outer edge in here. And you might want to wear a dust mask, because you're making a lot of fine aluminium, so it'd be a good idea to wear a dust mask while you're doing this. Now I'm going to follow it up because it's kind of rough. So now I'm going to start it again, and I got some 150 sandpaper, and I'm just going to kind of try to polish it a little bit, make it a little smoother. Make sure you got this thing secured to whatever you're going to hook it to, because it does run and vibrate. You don't want it falling off of your table or workbench.
What?
All right, so that smoothed it out pretty good. Putting that 150 on there. I think we just saved this guy 150 bucks. Now I'll put the new drive disc on, and we'll hook the cable and everything all back up and see how it works. All right, so let's reinstall this. So I'm going to put it in like this, and then kick it over to one side. Now I'm going to put the disc on, and the disc goes on like this. Flat side over there. Let's get that on before we start putting it all back together. Now I need them washers that go on here. And the one goes on the bottom. This is a tricky part. Like I always said, if you're not sure about something, or you feel uncomfortable about it, take a bunch of pictures with your camera phone. All right, now. Here's this bearing plate with the bushing on it. That one on this side. I'm going to stick that on there, kind of hold that in place for me. And I need to get this back on there. I wonder if I got ahead of myself here. I think I did. Let me pull this back off. And slide that shaft out of the way. I don't want that to fall off in them washers. Let me get this bearing plate back in there. Just enough room to kind of snake this in there. There we go. All right, I got that in. We got that back in. Now, I don't want to lose that washer on there. Slide the shaft. All right. Now I can put this bearing plate back on. This bushing. Put the bearing in. Remember, we had to grind a little bit off. Oh, there's a washer. There's a flat washer that goes on. And we can put the bearing on. Same on the other side. I forgot to put this washer on. So let me take this back off. Put the washer on. Now we can put that on there. Then I can grab one of these little mini carriage bolts. A couple of them. And those little baby nuts. Wrong one. That's for the drive disc. There we go. Grab another one of those little carriage bolts. And I need to get that up in there. So this is where you're going to need some needle nose pliers or some hemostats. Something small so you can hold this carriage bolt so you can get it in the back there. Unless you got little tiny fingers or you got a little kid. Want the little kid to help you. Little Johnny. You get that one in the back. Elkskins.
What?
Don't throw it.
What?
And we got one up here. My little octopus fingers. Oh. I hit the air pedal. All right. There's that. Now come over here and put this bearing plate on. And those four. Now, I've never done this before. Cleaning up one of these discs. This is the first time I've seen it. Like I said earlier, Slip Dog said they see it quite a bit. That's the difference. 60 miles away. And what a difference. Night and day. All right, so now we can put the drive disc on. And then we'll tighten them down. As I mentioned earlier, this wasn't made by John Deere. This was made by who?
Breaks and scrap them?
And you can get that sticker in our online store.
And you know why this thing is in here for repair?
Why?
Because it didn't have one of these on it.
Oh, it's a John Doe. And
Yeah.
You can get that sticker in our online store too. All right, so now I'll tighten these down. I've got the Never Sees, which we sell in our online store. It's always good to sleaze up these axle shafts because if you ever got to take this thing apart, you don't want them rusted on there. You want to be able to get these rims off. Otherwise, you got to do our heat and quench trick. So I'll slather it up real good. Tighten that down, put the wheels back on. And then I got to readjust the cable for the drive. So this disc has got to be nice and clean and dry. So I'm going to put this rag over this. And then I want to lubricate this shaft here that this slides on. And I'm going to use our gel lube, which we sell in our online store, because this stuff is sticky. It'll stick to the parts. And any of that excess will fall on the rag. Because we don't want it getting on that disc. If anything gets on the disc, you can, oh, I keep hitting the pedal there. If you get any of the lubricant on the disc, just use some brake cleaner, some acetone, some carb spray, something to clean it off of there. Now it's moving real smooth. Because I'm sure some of this had soaked through. Yeah. So I'll have to clean that disc. I'll just use some brake clean. We don't sell this in our online store. Brake clean. Let me get a rag. And I got some on the inside of the drive disc here. Want to clean that real good, and you also want to clean the rubber off. Let me shift it over. So I can get this side. Let me pull the rope a little bit. Shift it out of the way. All right. There we go. Boy, that's real smooth now. All right, let me go ahead and put the wheels back on. All right, so I need to readjust the cable. So what you want to do is make sure there's no play in it, but you don't want it too tight. So it'll spin on here. You might have to help pull up on it a little bit to get it to spin. And then this nut locks it in place. So I'll hold it with these pliers, and then I'll tighten that nut. So what you're looking for is you want it to roll free. And then when you pull the lever down, you know, it's going to lock. That's what you want. All right. Let's test it out. Well, there you have it, grass rats. I remachined that platter down there. Saved a bunch of money by doing that. See, you know all these little tips and tricks I'm turning you on to. So, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the don't like button, but don't hit the don't like button. Hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe to this YouTube channel, please. You don't have to. Nobody's forcing you. Follow me with your hard-to-get parts. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Come on, follow me with your snowblowers. Go to our web store. Check out what we got there. Like this beautiful sweatshirt. You know where this would look good? This would look good on you when you're operating that snowblower. Keep you nice and warm while you're hitting that snow. And check out the other stuff, like the gel lube and the stickers and the never sleeves. Yeah, anti-sleeves. Yeah, see, he's got to chime in. You know what we call him? We call him the doorbell. You know why we call him the doorbell? Because he's always chiming in.
What?
And as always, there's your dinner. Woo! Remachining parts, hillbilly style.